Do you wish you had more joy in your life? That is what this 4-week Bible study through the Book of Philippians is all about. It's entitled The Joy of Christian Living. Last week, we laid the foundation by looking at the writer of the Book of Philippians. This week, we're going to focus on the church at Philippi and what life and faith looked like for them. Hi, I'm Sandy from the creatorsclassroom.com, Growing in Joy Women's Bible Study Group. She Finds Hope, and Diving Deeper in the Bible, a women's Bible study group, all on Facebook. This study was written by Darlene Schott from the Time Warp Wife, and it's a beautiful, thoughtful guide that helps us slow down, dig deeper, and really apply God's Word to our everyday lives. There is a free study guide that you can download, or you can also purchase an actual book that is from Darlene Schott at the Time Warp Wife. The directions for getting this is in the comments below. This week we started in Acts 16, where Paul first arrived in Philippi. And what's interesting is there wasn't a large established group of believers there. It actually started very small. We see Lydia come to faith, and then later, after a very unexpected turn of events, the Philippian jailer and his household also became believers. But in between those moments, Paul had a pretty intense experience. He cast out a spirit from a slave girl, which angered her owners, and because of that, Paul and Silas are beaten and thrown into prison. It was completely unfair, undeserved, and yet, instead of responding with anger or frustration, they were found praying and singing in the middle of the prison. That alone says so much. I'm not sure if I would have responded the same way. Then God moves. There's an earthquake. The doors open. Chains fall off. And instead of running, they stay. And because of that, the jailer comes to faith. What looked like a setback was actually part of God's plan to grow the church. We also saw in 2 Corinthians 8 that the believers in Philippi weren't just faithful, they were generous. Even in their own hardship, they gave freely and joyfully. And this wasn't an easy place to follow Christ. There was pressure, opposition, and persecution, something that's still very real for many believers around the world today. And yet, this church was marked by faith, generosity, and deep commitment. Then we moved into Philippians 1 through 11, where Paul begins his letter. And you can just feel his love for them. He thanks God for them, he encourages them, and he reminds them of something so important, that God isn't finished working with them, that he is continuing the work he started in their lives. And that's such a comforting thought for us too. We all are in progress. We're all growing, and God is faithful to keep shaping us to look more like Jesus. Paul also prays for their spiritual growth, that their love would grow deeper, that they would have more wisdom and discernment, and that their lives would reflect Christ more and more. And throughout all of this, we see themes of servanthood and fellowship, walking together in faith, supporting one another, and living with a shared purpose. And that purpose is clear. It's Jesus Christ. His name shows up again and again throughout this letter. He's not just part of the message, he is the message. He is the reason Paul lived the way he did. He's the reason that the Philippians stayed strong in their faith. And he's the example for how we are called to live today. So as you reflect this week, here are a couple of things to think about. How do you usually respond when things feel unfair or difficult? And where might God be working in your life right now, even in ways you don't expect? Next week, we'll move into chapters 2 and 3, where Paul begins to challenge us even more in how we live out our faith. I hope you'll join us. And while you're at it, do all the things that we do here on social media. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next time in week 3. Bye-bye.